like your opinion on what is the line between one and the other one, and how to define it in order to explain it better. Because to some people, God is a superstition thing, and many devotees and many religious people believe in superstitious things. So of course, I don't believe God is a superstition, but somehow I see many, encroachments of the whole thing into that. So I would like your opinion on that matter.
Can you? I didn't follow everything. You're saying
The
that
line between superstitions and religion. Where do we? How do we explain to people who doesn't know anything, not about Krishna conscience, but just about how to, um, the whole idea of a divine force on top of our head is not a superstition, and how do we keep at bay of any superstitions? I mean, to me, that's nonsense, but I don't know what you think about it. That's what I want to hear from you.
well, I don't really understand exactly what superstition has to do with it. First of all, we're not really talking about religion. We're talking about, what is, I mean, everywhere you look, you see in whether you're just taking a handful of rice, or you're looking outside the window and you're seeing the life going on all around you. Everywhere you look, you can see the signs of, some, what I would call to be some supreme intelligence, even inside an atom. It's not just by chance that things come to be. Anywhere you look, you just see that there is so much like a higher intelligence, everything is happening not by chance. If things were happening by chance, they usually go to a state of disorder. They don't go to a state of more involvement and more, deep intelligence and so much data. Like, any scientist can tell you that in a closed system, like a computer or something, there's only as much information in that system as you put into it, or somebody has put into it. And by chance, things don't go to a state of more, what's the word? More organization, more, they don't go to a stage of becoming more and more complete. They go to a state of disorder. But everywhere we look, all around us, everywhere, we just see that everything is going on by some deep intelligence, there's so much information, even in an atom, in anything we eat, everything. There's so much information there. So how could that be superstition? That's not superstition. I think, Srila Sridhar Maharaj said one time he met one person who visited him, maybe in his village, and he said he saw that person was a saintly person, a sadhu. So he said, "Have you seen the Lord? Have you seen God?" Like that, people will ask that, "Have you seen God?" So Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said he remembered how excited that sadhu, how excited that saintly person became. And he said, "And you've not seen him? You've not seen him everywhere? You've not seen him? You have not seen him in everything, everywhere you look, you've not seen him." And he became very excited. That man became very excited. And that is really the quality of a saint. A saint, if you asked him, he'll be able to. And and I know there are many people speak against religion. It's superstition, it's ignorance and all that. Let them speak as they want. They can do that because maybe organized religion has been misused by many people and many wrong things have been done in the name of religion. But if a person looks individually on their own life and on their basis of their own experience, they'll see that what they're experiencing is not simply a mundane, calculative existence. They'll be able to say that maybe they have a dim view of religion, but they have to admit that their own life, if they see life for what it is, they'll think of it as a spiritual experience. Because there's no way I can categorize life as being mundane, you know. And it's interesting because, I'm spending time in Spanish-speaking countries, and I've lived there so long. And the word for the world, the word for earth or world is mundo, mundo. And at the same time, that's the name for world, el mundo. But at the same time, we have a word in English, we say mundane, which seems to be of the same kind of root as that name for world, mundane, mundo. But I would not characterize anything. I would not characterize, we may be able to dismiss religion, but we cannot dismiss our own life as just being a mundane experience. At least if we have some introspection, if we look within, we will be able to see that my own life is a spiritual experience, or put it in terms of cliches, we can say a spiritual journey. My life is not static. It's going on. And you could even, if you want to use those kind of words, you could even say life itself is a mystical experience. Then how can you characterize all this as being evidence of superstition? Why would you say superstition? Is there anything superstitious about living life and going through I don't know, just when you wake up in the morning, just every day seems different, every day seems to have some experience in it. And in Sanskrit, we have the word jnana and vigyan. So jnana means, okay, you have some knowledge, but vijnana means you have, in addition to knowledge, you have realization of what you are considering or thinking, of your jnana, of your knowledge. You have vigyan, you have realization. And that is one of the things about we'll say, the word for religion in Sanskrit will say dharma, dharma. And Krishna says you don't have to concern yourself with mundane religion. He says, Sarva dharmam parija mamekam sharanam braja. Aham tvam sarva bapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. You can give up that antiquated or very, that mundane consideration of what is religion. You don't have to follow that. Even your so-called religious duties, you don't have to follow that. But at the same time, Krishna says, well, what becomes the center of our life? What is of importance in our life? And he says, Mamekam sharanam braja, you surrender to me. The purpose of your life is you'll come closer to the Lord. You'll have realization of the spiritual aspects of your own existence, and you'll be able to approach the Lord. And by your own realization, your practice of Krishna consciousness will lead you to some realization. And anyway. So, that you're asking me about religion and superstition. All right, maybe you can equate religion and superstition, but we're not practicing religion. We're not dealing with, if we say religion is dharma, and Krishna says, give up that dharma, but at the same time, we're living what is called Sanatan Dharma. The dharma, or the, if you want to use the word religion, the eternal religion of the soul. We're spirit soul, we're different from this body, but our soul itself has its activities and its real dharma. And you could say, like the dharma of water is it's wet, it had that, what's the word, liquosity or liquid, that's the quality. Dharma of fire has heat and light. Dharma has the quality of dharma of fire has heat and life. So Mahaprabhu said the dharma of the living entity is that the living entity is the eternal servant of Krishna. Now, that may be hard for us to explain to people because people don't know anything about what is Krishna. They'll say, "Oh, who's Krishna? He's some conception in India that God is blue? Is that what you're talking about? Blue Krishna? I'm supposed to understand that I'm the eternal servant of an Indian blue God? Is that what you want to tell me?" And I would say, well, you know, don't, the person I'm talking to, I'd say, well, don't put it in those terms. You can say, Mahaprabhu, he said, there are millions of names of the Lord, but he's one person. But he has many millions of names by which he's known. So in your own country, you must have some names of God. So then use that name of God, but try to understand that you're the eternal servant of the Lord. Maybe that will strike a chord with you. And that actually is the dharma of the soul. Why should I just be a Godasa? Why should I just be a servant of my senses? What better existence can I have than to become servant of the Lord? But if you try to put it in terms of obligation, that now I have to chant this many rounds, now I have to get up, now I have to, you know, those things are important. Chanting the holy name, going to the temple of the Lord, attending the readings of the scriptures, worshiping tools, all these things are very important. We don't negate those, but don't put it in terms of just you have some obligation that you're forced to do. All these things you should understand that I'm somehow or other, I want to come to the point where these things, I have some attraction for them. And this shouldn't be on a sentimental level because sometimes I remember when I first came to Krishna Con, no, when I first came to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, and people would say, "Well, I don't go to the temple so much because I don't have, I don't, I don't. What's the word they'd use? Like raga. I don't have the spontaneous attraction to go to the temple." I say, oh, very interesting. But you do seem to have the spontaneous attraction to go out and eat or go to the movies or go to some sporting event. You do seem to have a spontaneous attraction to do that. Or maybe engage in some form of of enjoyment. You have an attraction for enjoyment, but you have no attraction for going to the temple. No, if I go to the temple, so many things happen there that I don't like. So I won't go to the temple anymore. All right. Be happy in this world. I'm happy for you. There's no need to go to the temple. And Gurudev came to that temple and he was happy going there. So that seems to me to be enough. If there's something in the temple that you don't like, try to change it, but don't just boycott. Anyway, so these things are going on. I don't know. I kind of went off went off the landing strip there on that answer, but Gaurachandra's question about religion and superstition. I don't know, Gaurachandra. I don't know which country you're coming from, you know. Some countries, if you went to the church and asked that question, they'd hit you across the hand with a ruler. Some of the lady practitioners. Oh, there's Sudevi in Tikul, huh? She's Australian, an Australian. Sudevi, can you hear?
Dandavat pranams, Maharaj.
Okay, Dandavat.
My internet's not working very well, so I can't see anybody. I don't know if there's a delay, but my pranams to you, Maharaj, and everybody.
Okay, Dandavat. Are you in Tikul?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
It's raining at the moment. There's a bit of a storm coming over.
Oh, it's damp here also. And I imagine it's even damp. Is it damp now in London?
Saraswati said it's been raining for 3 days.
Yeah, but in Barcelona, it's not. In Barcelona, it's not rain. It's not. No, not Barcelona. In Madrid, it's not raining. It's warm. And how is it in Ukraine? Nassar and Krishna Chaitanya, how is it there?
It is quite comfortable, Maharaj. Today it was 21 and now it is around 16 or 17. It was windy and damp, but still comfortable.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, 2 days ago it was very hot. I was walking on the beach and and at the ocean, it was very warm. But now it may turn out to be warm. It's only 11:30 in the morning, so in another couple hours it may warm up, but I don't think so. I think it'll be a little cool. The weather's changing. But we have a phenomena in California here in October. We have what's called Indian summer. In India. And I wonder where they got that name, Indian summer. But in October, there's always a period of time when summer it's kind of cool, and then summer reasserts itself for a week or two, and then it becomes cold after that. So, but right now it's not yet October. It's still the end of September. So I imagine there'll be kind of a last assertion of, what do you call it? Last assertion of summer before. But officially it's autumn, isn't it? When does autumn begin?
Yep. I think it's autumn now. All the leaves are turning already orange.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe Maharaj can share something about his reading this morning.
Yes.
It's Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Maharaj, we have some guest devotees. They're coming often to the temple. They're coming to join us. So we're thinking maybe if you wanted to share something from the Chaitanya Charitamrita reading this morning or something. Just a suggestion.
Oh. Where we had just finished recently.
Hare Krishna.
Well, just now I started with Mahaprabhu's teachings to Sanatana Goswami.
Oh, that's nice.
Rupa Goswami had returned to Vrindavan, and Sanatana Goswami traveled to Jagannath Puri to see Mahaprabhu. But when Sanatana Goswami was traveling through the path that went through the Jarikanda forest. We say Jarikanda forest, but it's also like a jungle because it has tigers and it has tigers and deer and so many animals, elephants and boars and all these animals. And Sanatana Mahaprabhu had traveled through that, going to Vrindavan. He traveled through the forest of Jarikanda and then returned. And I believe Jharkhand, we have now Jharkhand, that Niriya Maharaj, he's from Jharkhand. So that must be where Jharkhand is. Anyway, that Jharkhand is a jungle. Mahaprabhu traveled there and on the way back, because the first time he tried to go to Vrindavan, so many people had joined him, many hundreds of thousands of people, and it was creating some inconvenience, more than inconvenience, creating trouble for Mahaprabhu to travel, because all that countryside was ruled by the Muslims, and they definitely didn't want to see anybody traveling with a lot of people that would think that that's some Hindu prophet, and they don't want anybody encouraging, the Hindus. So anyway, Sanatana Goswami, when Mahaprabhu had visited Rupa and Sanatana and Ramakeli, he told him this is not the way to go to Vrindavan with so many people following you. So Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri without going to Vrindavan, and then on a second trip, he then traveled through Jarikanda, the forest. And now Sanatana Goswami, when he went to Mahaprabhu, he also traveled through that forest. But because of drinking perhaps contaminated water and the weather conditions or whatever, Sanatana Goswami contacted some disease of his skin. I don't know what that disease is called, maybe epicema or something like that. He had sores on his body and they were oozing liquid. So he was very disturbed by that, because not only it was causing him discomfort, but he didn't want it. Mahaprabhu would always come and give so much appreciation to Sanatana Goswami and embrace him. And when Mahaprabhu would embrace Sanatana Goswami, the liquid from Sanatana Goswami's sores would come onto the body of Mahaprabhu. So then Sanatana Goswami at first was thinking, this body is born in a low family. Actually, Sanatana Goswami was not from a low family, but because he had accepted employment, he and Rupa Goswami had accepted employment from the Nawab, from the Muslim government, he felt that he had become outside of the society. They even had the name Sakir Dabir Khas and Sakir Malik. They had Muslim names, and then Mahaprabhu recruited them as being, remember, Goswamis, one of the two preeminent or most important persons in his mission, Sanatana and Rupa Goswami. But Sanatana Goswami was thinking that because Mahaprabhu was embracing him and the liquid from his sores or touching Mahaprabhu's body, he thought, first, I'm outside the Hindu society. Sanatana Goswami wouldn't go into the temple of Lord Jagannath because he felt he'd given up his so-called caste, etc. And then he's thinking, now even worse, Mahaprabhu insists on touching me, and it's causing his body to become contaminated by the liquid from the sores on my body. So Sanatana Goswami was actually thinking, now I've come to Jagannath Puri, I come to the holy places, holy place, and I can give up this body by throwing my body under the wheels of the Jagannath Ratha Yatra. I can give up my body under the wheels of Jagannath car. But then Mahaprabhu, just without Sanatana Goswami saying anything, Mahaprabhu just said, he started out by telling Sanatana Goswami, if by giving up my body, I could get the service of Krishna, I could give up millions of bodies without any deep thought. But one should know that you cannot get Krishna in this way. You can't get Krishna just by giving up your body. This is an act of ignorance. And you can never get Krishna. You can't get Krishna in any way by austerities or by religious practice or by knowledge, etc., or by accepting sannyas or so many other things. You can't get Krishna in that way. You can only get Krishna by surrender and devotion. That's the only way you can get Krishna. You can't get Krishna, and certainly not through something as ignorant as suicide. You cannot get Krishna in that way. And then Mahaprabhu began to tell Sanatana Goswami, you cannot understand that your body belongs to me. When you surrender to me, your body no longer belongs to you. It belongs to me. And through your body, I plan on doing so many things. Like I want to preach the mission in Vrindavan. But I cannot be in Vrindavan because I promised to my mother, Sachi Devi, that I would not go to Vrindavan, that I would stay in Jagannath Puri. So then how will I preach the glories of Vrindavan and Mathura Vrindavan if I cannot go there? Mahaprabhu said, I plan to do this through you. And I will do this through you. So you cannot give up your body. Your body belongs to me. You can't destroy the property of somebody else. Your body no longer belongs to you. It belongs to me. And I plan to do so much service through your body. And then he told the Haridas Thakur, Haridas, you can also see that this man wants to destroy the property of someone else. It's not his property. He cannot do that. So in this way, Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami were staying together. I guess that place is called Siddhabakul. And then Haridas Thakur began glorifying Sanatana Goswami. He said, although my body was born in India, my body is useless. And he's saying in his humility because I'm born in a Muslim family. So I'm born in a Muslim family. So it's considered that I cannot what?
How long are you going to be?
Maybe a half hour more.
Okay, I'll come back.
So said, Haridas Thakur said, my body, although I was born in India, is useless. And that's his extreme humility saying, I'm outside of the society, what can I do? And then Sanatana Goswami began glorifying Haridas Thakur. He said, this is something I always remember as very good. He said, some people preach, but they don't behave properly. And maybe sometimes I'll consider myself in that category. Sometimes people preach, but they don't behave properly. And other people behave properly, but they don't preach. So there's an indication you have to do, and the words are prachar and achar. Prachar means preaching, and achar means behavior. So some people preach, but they don't behave properly, and other people behave properly, but they don't preach. You have to do both. So then Sanatan says to Haridas Thakur, but you do both. You preach the glories of the holy name to everyone because you're in the Namacharya. And at the same time, you show by your personal example, because What is the personal example of Haridas Thakur? He chants 300,000 names a day. If you want to quantumize that, it's only 192 rounds every day. You know, some people moan about how they were asked to chant 16 rounds. And Guru Maharaj didn't say you had to chant 16 rounds. He didn't want it to be an obligation. He wanted everyone to chant the holy name, but he said, okay, minimum 4 rounds. But some people give so much emphasis, they must chant 16 rounds. But then what about 16 rounds? Then 4 times 16 rounds is 64 rounds. So sometimes in the Gaudiya Math, there are persons who would chant 64 rounds a day. But Haridas Thakur chanted 192 rounds a day, 300,000 names. That means he chanted 3 times 64 rounds. Just imagine how much that is. I mean, you chant how long? 64 rounds, you know. If you have those counter beads, you have those little counter beads. They usually give counter beads when people get when they get Harinam Diksha, they get little counter beads. And so you chant 16, there are 16 beads on one side and 4 beads on the other side. So you chant one time around the whole mala, and then you move one of those 16 beads. Then you do another time around the mala and you move another bead. And now you've done 2 rounds. And then after you've done 16 rounds and all the beads are down there, you've chanted 16 rounds, and then you move one of the 4 beads. So now you've chanted 16 rounds, and you can move those 16 beads back up, and you can start on the next time around 64 next time around of 16 rounds. Then when you do that 4 times, so you've moved all those 4 beads, now you've chanted 64 rounds. Then you've done 1/3 of what Haridas Thakur did every day. And Haridas was chanting 192 rounds. And Mahaprabhu made some remark where he said, I only want to associate with a lakpati. A lakpati. Lak means, normally we would say a lakpati means somebody who has 100,000, who has at least 100,000 rupees, which in old days was a lot of money, but now not so much. All right. So we could say, I only want to associate with a lakpati, someone who has $100,000. Of course, dollars weren't the currency of India. So somebody could say, well, why is Mahaprabhu saying he only wants to associate with a rich man? No, he's not saying that. He's saying he only wants to associate with someone who's chanting at least, lak is 64 rounds. Who's chanting 64 rounds a day? So anyway, that's inconceivable. Some persons, maybe that's their vow, they're chanting 64 rounds. But generally speaking, Guru Maharaj said chant 4 rounds a day. And somewhere in the corner, maybe somebody has their japa mala, their bead bag is hanging there. And every now and then they'll dust off the cobwebs or spider webs from that bead bag. Anyway, but Sanatana Goswami said of Haridas Thakur, some people preach, but they don't behave properly, and other people behave properly, but they don't preach. But you preach about the glories of the holy name, and you also show by your personal example that you're always chanting the holy name. So therefore, you are the spiritual master of the whole world. And we could say that is the qualification of the Namacharya Haridas Thakur. But Haridas Thakur also glorified Sanatana Goswami. He said, Mahaprabhu has given you as your, we could say, your Prabhudatta Desh, your place for you to live and execute the mission of serving the Lord. in Vrindavan. So that's a very exalted service that Sanatana Goswami would do, and he was to become the, and Mahaprabhu instructed him that you will write books, you will be the Shastra Guru, and you will explain about the Vaishnava faith and how to live as a Vaishnava, and you will, like that, you will write Hari Bhakti Vilas, all about Vaishnavism and how one can live as a Vaishnava and how one can perfect one's life. Anyway, this is something I read. We haven't finished the chapter yet, and I know it's coming next, but anyway, I'll just leave it at this. This is what we were reading today, because that was Lavanya Moyi's question about what did we read today in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So I like reading Chaitanya Charitamrita in the morning because it draws me out of my gross ignorance. By reading the Chaitanya Charitamrita, I can remember something about what is spiritual existence. So then the rest of the day, I can go back to, shuffling my feet around, along the path or whatever is to be done, and then doing some seva. But Chaitanya Charitamrita is good, like breakfast, good. Have some. I try to do it every day, but sometimes I'm just doesn't happen. But yesterday, Lavanya Moyi was here. We were reading Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I stopped because she was leaving. And now, maybe little more than 24 hours, maybe 26 hours later, she's sitting in London. Can you imagine that? How is it possible to travel so fast, right? One day ago, she was taking breakfast in California, and one day later, she's sitting in London. And Saraswati, have you been traveling?
No, Maharaj, I have to be here when Lavanya is away, and Lavanya is here when I'm away. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm supposed to be here when Hashapriya is away, but I forgot when he's traveling. So we'll both be away for at least a little while at the same time as each other. That was my mistake, but okay. Anyway, it's happened. So that a few days I'll be gone and he'll be gone. He's going to India. And where is Madhusudan Maharaj now?
He's in Italy at the moment.
He's in
Italy, Villa Govinda. He's mainly residing there. Mainly.
Okay, yeah, I know. But he did visit London for the festival at the end of.
Yes, he came here for 10 days, and then he went to Ireland.
Yeah.
And then he went back to Italy.
So how long ago was he in Ireland?
The week before last, I think, wasn't it?
Maybe just only for 1 week after the festival. Until the 9th
to Monday, I think.
Yeah, until the 9th, just before Radhastami, he went back to Italy.
Okay. I think of him as somebody my friend who always welcomed me when I went to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. Anybody who went there, he'd always receive them, take them to a room and show them there. He did that service to Guru Maharaj, to Srila Sridhar Maharaj. He did that service to Srila Govinda Maharaj. And he is always, I feel very kind to the devotees, helping them. And what about Vishaka? Did she come through? No, she's still in Mauritius, right?
No, she is currently, she was not well. So she's in a hospital, Ayurvedic hospital in India, having some treatment because she has severe anemia and some infections.
So she went from Mauritius to India?
Yes, she's trying to recover from her health problems.
And where is she? In
Kerala.
Oh, yeah. Many people go to Kerala because they're good.
There is a hospital recommended by Jai Kumar Prabhu.
And is it an Ayurvedic hospital?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, she's already feeling better.
okay. And what about Avadut Mars? Does anyone know where he is?
No, I don't know where he is at the moment.
Okay. Just curiosity.
Yeah, I don't.
But I mention that because we have one of his disciples here named Sati, and she's been helping very much and cooking. She cooks very nicely.
Maharaj, can I ask you a question?
It depends.
All right. It's about the pastime of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that it mentioned that he have 3.5 persons. They are very close to him. Is Swarup the 3 persons are Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy, Sikhi Mahiti, and the half person is Sikhi Mahiti's sister. I think their name is Malini.
Yeah.
But we were listening to that pastime from Srila, from Maharaj. They have classes every day. And some lady devotee, they don't like to hear that a female devotee considered as a half person. How you can please explain to us how we can deal with that? How a female can be a half a person? They say that it's like an old style, all Indian people. The females are less than like a man.
No,
I don't know exactly how it can be explained.
Can't take that out of context. First of all, obvious 3.5 persons. There's some humorment there in the first place, because Guru Maharaj said, first of all, the category of 3.5 persons is meant to satisfy the Orisan devotees, because it doesn't take into account some exalted servitors of Mahaprabhu, such as Gadadhar Pandit and so many others. But it mentions, what is it, Swarup Damodar? What is it? Swarup Damodar, Ramananda Roy,
Sikhi Mahiti.
and Sikhi Mahiti. But where does Sikhi Mahiti, why would he be above so many exalted persons who are intimate, like Rup Sanatan and so many other persons? Why would Sikhi Mahiti? But Guru Maharaj said this category was created to satisfy the Orisan devotees. Then some propaganda for them. And the half person obviously is meant as humor, because normally you would say, why half person? Well, normally, if you're talking about the most intimate associates of Mahaprabhu, you wouldn't have Sikhi Mahiti's sister there. She wouldn't be above everyone else. But then it's being mentioned to satisfy those devotees who live in Orissa. But anyway, as far as Sikhi Mahiti's sister, she's you see, during the time of Mahaprabhu's presence, the ladies are not even intimately, they're not going to associate with Mahaprabhu. They remain they're not, the social structure of India at that time, especially for a sannyasi. A sannyasi is not talking with women. He's not associating with women. And Mahaprabhu's showing the character of an acharya, and his behavior is perfect. So why would you even have a woman mentioned as one of the close associates of Mahaprabhu when they're not allowed to they weren't necessarily going to meet with Mahaprabhu? But Mahaprabhu accepted Sikhi Mahiti's sister as being a very good devotee, and he glorified her. But people shouldn't be so concerned about nomenclature, like why half a devotee? Can't you see it? There's some humor there. Half a devotee. Why would you? It's like when Govinda Maharaj said there was one person there who would talk about different Vaishnavas, and he would say, this person is 5% Vaishnava, this person's 20% Vaishnava, this person's 30% Vaishnava, or 50%, or 75% Vaishnava. It was humor. And it's some categorization, and normally we're not categorizing people anyway. But that Mahaprabhu what's Sikhi Mahiti's sister, his sister's name is?
I think it's Malini, the
Malini.
sister.
Okay.
The same person that Chota Haridas went to bake some rice in that past time.
Yes. And Mahaprabhu, even though she's an elderly Vaishnavi, and even though Haridas Thakur went there on Bhagavan Acharya asked him to go there and beg rice from her, and he brought it so that Mahaprabhu could take prasadam. And Mahaprabhu he told, don't let Chota Haridas come see me anymore, because I don't like somebody who is talking or associating with women. But what was Chota Haridas's association with women? He's begging some rice from an elderly and very advanced Vaishnavi, so advanced that she's considered one of the 3.5 people who's closely associated with Mahaprabhu. So, I mean, you have to be able to, you can't miss the forest because you're so focused on the trees. You know, what's that saying? You miss the forest because you only see the trees. I mean, you're supposed to be able to have some intelligent criteria and understanding things. It shouldn't be so hard for somebody to see that these people were 3.5 intimate associates of Mahaprabhu there, that these 3.5 persons and not anyone else. And why is that so difficult for somebody to like contemplate? And then they become angry. Oh, why half person? Why are ladies only half? Oh, because you know, she was at that time, maybe somebody had an old computer, and then there was 3 people listed there, and then only half a person there on the computer. It was like a graph. I mean, come on. Can't somebody understand it without getting all worked up about why is she only half a person? Well, reminds me of one of the boys that when Hari Charan one time saw one of the young boys, and the young boy had tilak on his forehead, but he hadn't put tilak on his arms or shoulders or anywhere else. And Hari Charan says, why you only put tilak there on your forehead? You didn't put tilak anywhere on your body. And that person looked at Haridas Thakur, not Haridas Thakur, he looked at Hari Charan, who didn't have tilak on, and he said, at least I have something, you have nothing. So we'll also say, you know, did you get something to eat? People say, kitchu. They got kitchu, something I got. So, like we say in Spanish, algo es mejor que nada. So something is better than nothing. Then to be, at least she's listed as a half a devotee. You're not even listed as any devotee. She's a half devotee, but you're not nothing. So why, you know, come on. Try to have a little humor in your life. Don't get so caught up. You want to get angry and you want to because you're a feminist and you want everybody to know that I don't like that ladies are only considered to be half a devotee. Algo es algo. We say, algo es algo, dijo el calvo. Something is something. Something is something, said the bald man as he found one hair growing on his head. Something is something, said algo es algo, dijo el calvo. At least something is something, said the bald man. At least he found one hair growing on his head. Huh? So something is better than nothing. One time I came to the Math and somebody, one of the devotees, my father had passed away. And so I was late getting there for Gaur Purnima because I had to, some things I had to attend to because, you know, it's not every day when some close, you know, your father passed away. So I was a little late getting to the Math. And then somebody, one of the devotees who was close to me, he said, one of the Bengali devotees, he said, why are you, now you come, why come so late? And I said, because, you know, I had some responsibility. I couldn't come any earlier. And then he understood. I told him what had happened. Then he said, well, in Bengali, it says, if the end is good, then the whole thing is good. So if you at least end on a positive note, then everything is good. So if you're half a devotee, if you're some lady, but you're only counted as half a devotee, algo is algo. At least you're not bald. At least you're. And besides, we want to end on a good note. So this is the end. We're getting towards 8 o'clock. People haven't taken their dinner yet, and it's late. Everyone is left. Lavanya is there by herself. Everyone is left.
It's true.
Some
Everyone is left to go take dinner.
They're all listening,
Little-
but they're having some prasadam as well. Yeah.
And yeah, they're going to take prasadam, and they're little Amal Krishna, he's going to sleep too.
Yeah.
So,
So
and
good.
Falguni is there, and Gaurachandra, he's going to take rest. There he is. He's in a dark room,
Hanging on in there.
hanging on. All right, we're ending up, wrapping it up.
Jai Maharaj. Good to see you.
Dandavad Pranam Maharaj, Dandavad devotee.
Dandavad.
Dhanyavad, Janardan Maharaj, thank you very much for your time.
What's the
Dhanyavad to all
name
the
of the devotee from Ireland?
Krishna Nandini.
Krishna Nandini.
She's
Okay.
here. She's here. There she is.
All right, Dhanyavad. We'll see you. We'll see you all soon.
Dhanavad. See you soon, Maharaj. Take care.
Thank you.
Dhanyavad.
All right, Dhanavad. Jai.
Janardan Maharaj, todos los devotos.
What happened to Lakshmi Kanti? Oh,
She's there. She's there.
I'm here. I'm just darker than usual.
Okay. Where are you? Yeah, I don't see
I'm
you.
just in my room, Mara. It's
And-
just that.
And Krishna Kishore, is he there?
He's in the kitchen, Mara. He's cooking. He's
Oh,
a pastime.
all right. Dhanyavad. What's he cooking?
No. Kishore, what are you cooking? Maharaj is asking.
Matu alu tarkari.
Wow.
Matu alu tarkari. Alu tarkari.
Potato sabji. Okay, good.
Potato, peas, broccoli, peppers, and paneer.
Dhanyavad Ananga Krishna. We'll see you.
Much Maharaj.
Dhanyavad.
Dandavad Maharaj.
Okay. Now going. Dhanyavad to everyone.